Welcome to Beauty in Stories. This is a space where short, meaningful tales invite us to explore life's deep lessons and the beauty of emotions. Each story becomes a journey to listen, reflect, and rediscover values that are often overlooked in the busyness of life. Join us as we uncover inspiration, joy, and connection in these stories every day. And now, let's dive into today's story, The Light of Learning. On my first day as a teacher, everything seemed to go smoothly until the last class of the day. As I entered the classroom, I heard chairs screeching and angry voices. In the corner of the room, one boy had another pinned to the floor.
Listen, you idiot!
The boy on the bottom shouted.
I don't care about your sister. Don't you dare touch her. You hear me?
The boy on top threatened. I demanded they stop fighting. Suddenly, 14 pairs of eyes locked onto me. Their stares were cold, defiant, and unyielding. I realized how powerless I looked in front of them. The two boys glared at each other, then at me, before slowly retreating to their seats. At that moment, a teacher from the classroom next door poked his head in and barked at the students, ordering them to sit down and listen to me. I felt small and inadequate. For the first time, I wondered,
am I really meant to be here?
After class, I kept one of the boys behind. His name was Mark. He stood before me, his eyes void of hope.
Mississippi, don't waste your time on us. We're nothing but a bunch of idiots,
he said, his voice low but laced with resignation. His words cut through me like a sharp knife. As he walked out of the room, I slumped into my chair, feeling defeated. I began to question everything. Maybe I should just quit. Maybe I'm not strong enough to help these kids. A colleague approached me later, patting my shoulder reassuringly.
Don't overthink it,
he said.
I used to teach them. None of them will graduate. They're just drifters, migrant kids working on farms with their families. They come to school when they feel like it. You can't expect much.
That night, his words echoed in my mind, nothing but a bunch of idiots. The label lingered like a haunting refrain. The next day, I walked into the classroom with a different resolve. I wrote a strange word on the board, espionage.
This is my name.
I said.
Can anyone read it?
The students chuckled, confused. I smiled and turned back to the board, rewriting it as Janice.
Years ago, I was also called an idiot.
I said.
I couldn't read. I couldn't write. I felt ashamed and broken because of it. But I refused to accept that label. I fought against it. And now, I'm your teacher.
The room fell silent. One boy finally spoke up.
You're not like us. You're smart. We're not.
There is no one in this classroom who's stupid.
I replied firmly.
But if you want to keep that label, you're free to leave. I won't stop you. If you choose to stay, though, we will work together. We will succeed together. You won't just graduate. Some of you will go to college. That's not a joke, that's a promise.
From that day forward, the atmosphere in the classroom shifted. The students began to focus more, to try harder. Mark, the boy who had once declared himself an idiot, was the one who transformed the most. One day, I caught him holding a copy of To Kill a Mockingbird. He turned to a classmate and said,
This book is amazing. We don't read baby stuff here.
By the time June came, I didn't want to leave my class. But I knew the time had come. On the last day, the principal walked up to me as I arrived at school.
Please follow me.
He said sternly.
There's something going on in your classroom.
Worried, I followed him. But when I stepped into the room, I froze. Flowers were painted across every wall. Small bouquets were placed neatly on each student's desk. And a large arrangement sat on mine. Tears welled up in my eyes. These were the same kids who often didn't have enough money for warm clothes or food. How had they managed this? Mark explained.
We asked for leftover flowers from a flower shop and even from the cemetery. Because you're not like anyone else. Mississippi, you believed in us.
Lessons from Forgotten Souls. Life tests us with challenges that feel insurmountable, tempting us to give in to despair and doubt. Yet, those challenges forge patience and faith. This story of my classroom, of the children once labeled stupid, taught me an invaluable truth: every person carries within them potential. A light waiting to be kindled by trust and compassion. Those children didn't need a teacher to simply lecture them. They needed someone to see their worth when the world had given up on them. We are often boxed in by labels and limitations imposed by others. A single word, like stupid, can shatter a person's spirit unless someone steps in to challenge it. And sometimes, all it takes is a small gesture of belief to transform a life. Life doesn't always place us in easy circumstances. But if we have the courage to stay, to fight, and to believe, we can uncover the most precious treasures, not in our own success, but in the growth of those we've helped. The greatest way to honor those who believed in us is to pass that belief forward, igniting new flames in others. Because in the end, everything we do becomes part of a greater story, a story of hope, love, and an unyielding will to rise above. Thank you for joining Beauty in Stories for today's tale. I hope these moments have brought you meaningful insights and inspiration. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, so you won't miss any upcoming stories. See you in the next one.
Goodbye!